They have to keep covering for her. They have to keep presenting her as if she's this, this nuance and this new way forward. Kamala Harris is, this whole interview is full of it. This is a bunch of BS.
Madam Vice President, you just laid out your economic vision for the future. Yeah. But still, there are lots of Americans who don't see themselves in your plans. For those who say these policies aren't for me, what do you say to them?
And looking holistically at the connection between that and housing, and looking holistically at the incentives we in the federal government can create for local and state governments to actually engage in planning in a holistic manner that includes prioritizing affordable housing.
Stephanie Ruhle is set to interview Kamala Harris in a pre-recorded interview on a sit-down with MSNBC. This was I think this is the first sit-down she's done with a major news network since she has been installed. But this Stephanie Ruhle is part of kind of this communist agenda, like we mentioned. She believes in not asking her tough questions.
It's not too much to ask Kamala, say, are you for a Palestinian state if Hamas is going to run that state?
Okay.
Yes or no?
And let's say you don't like her answer. Are you going to vote for Donald Trump?
No, I'm not. I just said I'm not going to vote.
Is not running for perfect. She's running against Trump. We have two choices. And so there are some things you might not know her answer to. And in 2024, unlike 2016 for a lot of the American people, we know exactly what Trump will do, who he is, and the kind of threat he is to democracy.
I don't know her.
It's unclear to me how there can be
The problem that a lot of people have with Kamala is we don't know her answer to anything, okay?
But you know
and
his answer to everything.
And that's why I would never vote for him, and people should vote for him. But people also are expected to have some idea of what the program is of the person you're supposed to vote for. You're just not supposed to say, well, you have to vote for Y because X is this, that, and the other. Let's find out a little bit more. And I don't think it's a lot to ask her to sit down for a real interview as opposed to a puff piece in which she describes like her feelings of growing up in Oakland with nice lawns.
Then I would just say to that, when you move to Nirvana, give me your real estate broker's number and I'll be your next door neighbor. We don't live there.
Wow. So she feels like it's her responsibility as a media pundit or a journalist to just not ask the question because we, the public, may not like the answer. This is crazy. Shelley.
This is a bunch of BS. That's what it is, okay? She's not a journalist, if you will. She might be one professionally, or her license may say journalist, but she is an advocate. She's a sycophant. She is a butt kisser, if you will. This is not journalism. This is, again, Marge Saray, the most effective devil in America. This is a fan. This is a chorus for Kamala Harris. Why would a journalist take a private, pre-recorded interview, particularly in the middle of a high-stakes election? Why not? And you know it's going to be edited. We're only going to see the parts that make Kamala Harris look like she's from a middle-class background, and she was raised by the babysitter and she loves business owners or small business owners. We're not going to have anything substantive. This is a bunch of propaganda. And let me say something. Trump is a threat to democracy. He's a threat to democracy. You know why? He's a threat to the tyranny of the majority. Mm-hmm. He's a threat to their version of mob rule. So in that aspect, she's absolutely right. And this is why they have to keep covering for Kamala Harris, or what's her name today? Kamala, or whatever it is. They have to keep covering for her. They have to keep presenting her as if she's this, this nuance and this new way forward. Kamala Harris is, this whole interview is full of it. Unfortunately, we have to watch it to know what they're putting forth so that we can refute it. But this is a bunch of BS.
It's Mamala. Remember?
Oh yeah, Mamala.
That's right. So this is amazing.
Yeah.
Like that, it's so infuriating. And I'm always, thinking about, education, educating the young minds. Let's say, imagine college, like high school or college students learning how to be informed voters. And they're watching a lady like this who is saying, look, it doesn't matter what your candidate stands for. It matters what we're voting against. This is like, you're going to get an F. Like if you are a student in the class where a teacher is trying to teach how to be an informed voter and you're like, it doesn't matter, as long as I don't like the other guy, I'm just not going to even research what my candidate stands for. It's ridiculous.
The audacity that they would say something like that. They not only the audacity, but they say it with boldness.
Right.
They are proud of what they're saying to the American public for a crucial, consequential election, no less. You have people, journalists, whomever, telling the American public that you don't need to know what one candidate thinks or what their proposals may be, what their policies. You don't need to know that, Americans. You need to just get your ass in that booth and pull down that lever. I mean, our grandparents and ancestors would probably, they may be rolling in their graves. They probably would have, I don't know, maybe rioted, certainly protested, to have a politician, a media person come out and tell them that for as much as they fought for the right to vote, to read no less, and to be informed. And you have someone, I mean, not only is it embarrassing, it's condescending.
Yeah, it is. Guys, I mean, the way that they do this is if you if you question it, if you question any of this, like we are, you question Kamala Harris on her policies, they call you racist.
Well, unrealized gains, taxing unrealized gains just doesn't seem fair in any sense of the word. In the very best sense, if you are taxing unrealized gains, all you're doing is pulling forward the taxes that would be paid later when someone actually sells the stock.
I think that this reaction to unrealized gains is a little funny, given that I bet that the majority of people watching right now are already paying a tax on unrealized gains. It's called a property tax. When the value of your home goes up,
it's a use tax.
When the value of your home goes up, you pay higher taxes, even if you don't sell your home.
Your value of your home never moves the way a stock moves, the way something else moves.
That's always the go-to answer.
It's also, property tax is a use tax. You're paying for the schools, you're paying for emergency services. Those are things that make absolute sense.
And sure, and all the revenue that comes in from these unrealized gains taxes and the other taxes in the Harris plan are going to go to creating what she calls more opportunity. It's to make sure that every newborn born in this country gets $6,000.
Using the services.
Well, look, you're arguing that this is some sort of foreign concept that's completely unknown in the U.S. tax code.
It's probably unconstitutional. It's probably, and it was never in anyone's intent to tax.
It's not an income tax,
and it's never going to happen. Probably. Not in, well, I'm not going to say my lifetime.
I wouldn't say that.
Not in Becky's lifetime. Yeah.